You've been told what to avoid, cut the sugar, watch the carbs, but nobody tells you what to actually eat. These 15 foods don't just manage blood sugar, they protect your brain, your heart, your circulation. Most of them are already at your local Tesco or Sainsbury's. Number 1 might already be in your kitchen. Most people with diabetes think they have to give up bread completely. They're wrong. But the bread they're currently eating, that's a different story. Walk into any UK supermarket and the whole grain loaves look healthy. Flip the packet over, sugar near the top of the ingredients list. Seed oils, natural flavorings, 2 grams of fiber per slice. That bread isn't protecting you. It's quietly undermining everything else you're doing right. Without fiber, glucose floods your bloodstream fast. Not gradually, fast. That repeated daily spike drives insulin resistance further over time, making your body progressively worse at handling blood sugar, not better. What you want is a sprouted grain loaf, 3 grams of fiber per slice, nothing but whole grains, or a genuinely low-carb option with 5 net carbs or fewer. Sprouted grain at Waitrose and larger Sainsbury's, low-carb options in Tesco health food sections. Always check the ingredients. If sugar is in the first 4 ingredients, put it back, but the bread is only half the problem. What you put on it might be doing just as much damage, hiding behind a name you trust. This catches people out every single day. You reach for a stevia product, you feel good about the choice. Then you look at the ingredients. The first one is dextrose, which is sugar. You bought stevia, you got a packet of sugar with a sprinkle of stevia added. This is how the food industry hides things in plain sight. If you are diabetic, that dextrose still triggers a blood sugar response. The word stevia on the front means nothing if dextrose is the main ingredient inside. What you want is pure liquid stevia or 100% monk fruit powder. 1 drop in your morning tea. Monk fruit and erythritol blends work brilliantly for baking. They are a 1-to-1 swap for sugar in any recipe. Find pure options at Holland & Barrett, Waitrose and larger Sainsbury's stores. Small swap. The difference in your blood sugar over weeks is not small at all. The next food was wrongly demonized for decades, and diabetics paid the price for that mistake. Cholesterol, they said. Avoid them. That's been thoroughly dismantled, and what's been found in its place is remarkable. 2 eggs deliver 12 grams of protein. That protein acts as a buffer. It slows how quickly food converts into glucose. Not a spike, a gradual controlled curve throughout the morning. The yolk contains choline, a compound your brain uses to produce the neurotransmitter responsible for memory and focus. People with lower choline levels show faster cognitive decline as they age. Diabetics already carry a higher risk of that decline than most. The yolk also contains lutein and protective carotenoids, compounds that shield cells from the oxidative wear and tear that diabetes accelerates over time. Free range or organic at every major UK supermarket. Cheap, fast, and doing more for your body than most supplements on the market. 2 a day. That's all it takes. But what comes next rebuilds something even more fundamental. Most people are eating the wrong version of it every single morning. Most yogurts are desserts pretending to be healthy food. Grab a flavored pot from any supermarket chiller. Cane sugar is often near the top of the ingredients. 9 grams of added sugar in something the size of your palm. Here is what makes that dangerous for diabetics. Yogurt is a fermented food, and it is supposed to feed your gut bacteria, the bacteria that regulate inflammation, immune response, and metabolic function. But sugar kills gut bacteria. That pot of healthy yogurt is not feeding your microbiome. It is actively dismantling it while spiking your blood sugar at the same time. 2 problems in one small pot. What you want is plain strained Greek yogurt. Straining removes natural lactose, and protein increases dramatically, 16 grams per serving versus 6 in an unstrained version. Kefir goes further. While Greek yogurt carries 5 or 6 probiotic strains, kefir can contain up to 60. That diversity drives stronger immunity, reduced inflammation, and better metabolic control. Biotiful or Nourish Kefir at Tesco, Sainsbury's, or Waitrose. For Greek yogurt, confirm it says strained with no added flavorings. Sweeten with pure stevia. Top with blueberries. Which brings us to a complication of diabetes that almost nobody talks about. Chronic high blood sugar doesn't just affect your kidneys and your feet, it creates sustained oxidative stress in the brain. Day after day, that stress wears down neurons. Over years, it accelerates cognitive decline, and people with diabetes face that risk at a rate far higher than the general population. Blueberries directly push back against that process. The anthocyanins, the deep color compounds in blueberries, cross the blood-brain barrier and reach neurons themselves, reducing inflammation and improving how brain cells communicate. Long-term studies show regular blueberry consumption results in cognitive aging up to 2.5 years slower than in people who do not eat them. Fresh or frozen, both work. Frozen ones are available year-round at every UK supermarket. Tip: wash. Fresh blueberries in cold water with a tablespoon of baking soda for 2 minutes, then rinse. It removes the majority of pesticide residue without affecting any nutrients. Or go organic where possible. Try a handful on your yogurt each morning. Brain maintenance before 9 in the morning. The next food works from the inside of every cell in your body, and 2 tablespoons is all it takes. 2 tablespoons. That's the whole conversation. 2 tablespoons of chia seeds contain nearly 10 grams of fiber. Most people in the UK consume fewer than 20 grams total per day. You're hitting half that target before breakfast is finished. When chia seeds absorb liquid, they form a gel in your digestive tract. That physically slows food through your system, so glucose enters your bloodstream as a trickle, not a flood. Beyond that, their omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation. Their antioxidant compounds protect against the oxidative stress that accelerates cellular aging in diabetics specifically. Sprinkle on yogurt, blend into a smoothie, make overnight chia pudding. Available in the health food aisle at every major UK supermarket, including Aldi and Lidl. 2 tablespoons every morning. The next food is garlic, and it has been used medicinally for thousands of years. For diabetics, the reason it works matters more than most people realize. 1 clove, that's the dose. Crushing or chopping garlic releases allicin, a sulfur compound that activates anti-inflammatory pathways and helps regulate blood pressure naturally. For diabetics, blood pressure matters enormously. Cardiovascular disease is one of the most serious long-term complications of type 2 diabetes, and consistently elevated pressure accelerates that risk significantly. Garlic directly addresses it. Research also shows regular garlic consumption improves insulin sensitivity over time. Your body manages blood sugar more efficiently, not just once, but consistently. 1 rule: raw or lightly cooked only. High heat destroys allicin completely. Chop it, rest for 10 minutes, then finish a dish with it. 1 or 2 cloves a day. It costs almost nothing. While garlic supports pressure inside your blood vessels, the next food rebuilds the vessel walls themselves. Most people think of beetroot as a salad ingredient. That is a significant underestimation. Beetroot contains natural nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide, a compound that dilates blood vessels and improves circulation throughout your body. For people with diabetes, this is not cosmetic. Chronically elevated blood sugar stiffens and scars vessel walls over time. That progressive damage leads to complications in the kidneys, the extremities, and the eyes. Beetroot actively works against that process. Betalains, the natural pigments in beetroot that give it its deep red color, carry anti-inflammatory properties and support liver detoxification at the same time. Beetroot also improves blood flow to the frontal lobe. A brain better supplied with oxygen functions younger. Fresh, roasted, juiced, or vacuum-packed pre-cooked options are available at Tesco, Sainsbury's, Marks & Spencer, or Waitrose. Wash conventional beetroot in cold water with a teaspoon of baking soda before eating raw. Your circulation and brain benefit at the same time. The next food switches off the inflammatory process that attacks blood vessels from within, and the numbers here are genuinely startling. 1 molecule, 1 switch. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, blocks the molecular trigger that drives chronic inflammation throughout your body. Scientists link this process directly to heart disease, diabetes complications, and accelerated cognitive decline. Switch it off and you slow the damage at its source. Turmeric also raises BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that keeps neurons flexible and supports memory formation as you age. For someone managing diabetes, protecting brain function is not optional. Critical point: your body absorbs curcumin poorly alone. Add black pepper every single time and absorption increases by up to 2,000%. Not 20, 2,000. Always together, no exceptions. Fresh turmeric root is available at Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose and Marks & Spencer. Ground powder is everywhere. Traditional pasta is one of the worst foods for blood sugar, but what comes next does the complete opposite, and it might surprise you. Here's what standard pasta does. You eat a bowl. Within 40 minutes, blood glucose climbs sharply. Refined wheat with almost no fiber converts quickly, causing an energy spike, then a crash. Repeated over years, that pattern drives insulin resistance, making your condition progressively harder to manage. Chickpea pasta has 8 grams of fiber and 12 grams of protein per serving. Red lentil pasta has 6 grams of fiber, including soluble fiber, and 15 grams of protein per serving. Standard wheat pasta has 2 grams of fiber and minimal protein. The protein in legume pasta binds with the carbohydrates themselves, slowing how the gut breaks them down. That leads to significantly flatter blood glucose after the meal. The prebiotic fiber feeds beneficial gut bacteria at the same time. Same shapes, same sources. Available at Tesco, Sainsbury's, Holland, and Barrett, and larger Waitrose stores. If pasta can be transformed this completely, wait until you hear what's happened to rice. White rice is a trap. Manufacturers stripped away everything that made it a whole grain, the hull, the fiber, and its nutritional profile. What is left is pure starch, 0 grams of fiber. One of the fastest blood sugar spikes in the entire food aisle. Brown rice is marginally better, but still carries too much starch for most diabetics to eat regularly. The alternatives change everything. Cauliflower rice, 4 grams of carbs and 2 grams of fiber, has negligible glucose impact. It is sold frozen at Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's and Aldi, and is one of the most budget-friendly options on this list. Miracle noodles go even further. 1 net carb, 2 grams of fiber, essentially no blood sugar response. Why? Because glucomannan, a soluble fiber in the konjac plant, forms a thick gel that slows digestion. It slows digestion so effectively that it has been studied as a clinical tool for blood sugar management on its own. Available in larger supermarkets and Asian grocery stores across the United Kingdom. Not quite the same as rice, but when the alternative is years of repeated damage, it stops feeling like a compromise. The next food is the most underestimated tin on the entire supermarket shelf. Most people walk straight past the sardine tin. That is a significant mistake. Sardines are among the most nutrient-dense foods in any UK supermarket. Omega-3s, vitamin D, calcium, selenium, all in one small tin. For diabetics, each does something specific. Omega-3s work at your cell receptors, making insulin receptor sites more sensitive and responsive. Insulin doesn't just circulate, it actually gets used efficiently. Vitamin D is directly linked to insulin secretion. A large portion of the UK population is deficient, particularly through winter. That deficiency quietly worsens blood sugar control year-round. Sardines fix that directly. And because sardines sit low on the food chain, they carry far less mercury and contamination than larger fish. You can eat them regularly without concern. Wild caught in olive oil or spring water, available everywhere. On toast, in a salad, or straight from the tin. Sardines optimize how insulin works at the surface of your cells. What comes next rebuilds the cells themselves. Your cells are aging right now. Gradually, cell membranes are stiffening. Mitochondria, the energy generators inside every cell, are declining in efficiency. Insulin sensitivity is slowly dropping as a result. Wild-caught salmon targets all three. The omega-3s EPA and DHA rebuild cell membrane integrity, keeping cells flexible and responsive to insulin signals. That is how insulin resistance develops at the cellular level, and how omega-3s help reverse it. Then there is astaxanthin, the reddish-orange antioxidant that gives salmon its color. Clinical research shows this compound protects the beta cells in the pancreas, the cells that produce insulin, from oxidative damage. For a diabetic, those cells are everything. Wild-caught Alaskan or sockeye contains significantly more omega-3s and astaxanthin than farmed alternatives. Tinned wild salmon works equally well. Twice a week, measurable difference. What comes next? Protects the organ controlling everything else, and the research behind it spans decades. One handful. No cooking, no preparation. 30 grams of walnuts delivers omega-3 ALA alongside polyphenols that target brain inflammation and vascular health simultaneously. Here's why that matters specifically for diabetics. Chronic blood sugar dysregulation accelerates brain aging, affecting memory, processing speed, and cognitive clarity. That risk is significantly higher for people managing type 2 diabetes. It is one of the most serious long-term consequences, and it is almost never discussed. Long-term studies spanning decades show people who eat walnuts regularly maintain sharper cognitive function into their 70s and 80s compared to those who do not. Walnuts also reduce systemic inflammation through multiple mechanisms at once, with omega-3s, polyphenols, and vitamin E working in parallel. You can find them in the baking aisle or snack section of every UK supermarket. A handful in the morning. Which brings us to number 1, and it is not a single food, it is something more fundamental than any ingredient on this list. The typical British breakfast sends blood sugar on a roller coaster before 9 in the morning. Toast, jam, orange juice, sugary cereal. Refined carbs hit your system before you have left the house. That first spike does not just affect how you feel before noon. Research shows it sets your metabolic pattern for the entire day, making every subsequent meal harder for your body to manage. Here is what most people never hear. Protein at breakfast does not just buffer the glucose from that meal. It primes your metabolism to respond more gradually to carbohydrates for the rest of the day. Eat enough protein at breakfast and your blood sugar response to lunch is measurably flatter. No other mealtime has that downstream effect. Target: 25 to 30 grams of protein before 9 in the morning. 2 eggs give you 12 grams. Add leftover chicken, turkey slices, or smoked salmon, and you are there. Add a slice of low-carb bread from number 15 and you have built a breakfast that works for your metabolism instead of against it. No crash at 11, no desperate reach for something sweet by midday. Stable energy, stable blood sugar all day. This is the foundation that makes every other food on this list work harder, and it starts tomorrow morning. 15 foods, all available across the UK. All backed by clinical research. The right plate doesn't just manage a condition, it changes what's possible. Share this with someone who needs it. Subscribe. We publish content like this every week.